Hello, guys, and we're into another video today. Now, before we get into the full depths of everything, in particular, I have show you the exact video of Pierre, or whatever you pronounce her name is, what she's actually doing and what she has said, and two verses of what they are doing. So, there's that. Also, you haven't noticed, Ron Desantis has shipped some airplanes to Martha's Vineyard, to a lot of the rich neighborhood areas, which most majority are Democrat, and the majority of them are, vote for those sanctuary city type policies. More on that later into this video. Without further ado, here is Pierre saying on how bad those Republicans are for publicity, for political stunts, even though they've done it before. Take a look.
And not the Department of Homeland Security, the city, or local NGOs were alerted about a plan to leave migrants, including children, on the side of a busy DC street makes clear that this is just a cruel, premeditated political stunt. This is what they are doing. And a couple more things. The migrants, including children, who arrived in Martha's Vineyard were misled about where they were being taken and what would be provided when they arrived is also deeply alarming. The children Governor Abbott abandoned in Martha's Vineyard, the children that Governor Desantis abandoned as well, deserve better. They deserve better than being left on the streets of D.C. In fact,
yes, Pierre. Obviously, everything they're doing is bad in the sense to where they're shipping people to illegal immigrants to other states and stuff, and this is causing a problem for you guys. I digress, though. You guys have done the same, and Ron DeSantis is just reporting in kind. Now, again, guys, I apologize for anything that anything swishing in my mouth, obviously, because I apparently have gotten a sore throat. And I don't know what's the cause of it, but I'm trying to keep it down so I can actually do my job here. So, apologize in advance. Anywho, let's get directly into the article, going with Ron DeSantis, and then eventually going into exactly what's going on later to kind of contradict themselves, because that's what they do constantly. Alright. Ron DeSantis sends 2 planes of illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. Florida Ron DeSantis followed through on his promise to drop off illegal immigrants in progressive states, sending 2 planes of full migrants to Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday. A video provided to Fox News shows the migrants reporting the planes at Martha's Vineyard Airport in Massachusetts. Yes, Florida can confirm that the 2 planes with illegal immigrants that arrived in Martha's Vineyard today were part of the state's relocation program to transport illegal immigrants to sanctuary destinations, the governor's communications director, Taryn Fence, told Fox News Digital. Which makes sense, right? Because obviously these are sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, and stuff like that. So obviously he's going to shift them to where people obviously like them and, want to cater to them and all that stuff. States like Massachusetts, New York, and California will better facilitate the care of these individuals who they have invited into our country by incentivizing illegal immigration through their destinations as sanctuary states, and support for the Biden administration's open borders policies, he said. As you may know, in this past legislative session, the Florida legislature, wow, I can't speak apparently. Probably do the sore throat. Appropriated $12 million to implement a program to facilitate the transport of illegal immigrants from this state consistent with federal law, she said. Later, adding that the state's immigration relocation program targets with both human smugglers found in the state, but also preempts others from coming to Florida. The Office of Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker responded to a non-after-hours email from Fox News Digital saying it was aware of the situation and that the arrivals were provided short-term shelter. The Baker-Polito administration is in touch with local officials regarding the arrival of migrants in Martha's Vineyard, Terry McCormick, Baker's press secretary, wrote. At this time, short-term shelter services are being provided by local officials, and the administration will continue to support these efforts. Fox News Digital reported in April that the Florida's budget, since approved by the state legislature, included $12 million for the Florida State Department of Transportation to remove illegal immigrants from the state and relocate them. Martha's Vineyard is famously known as a playground of rich progressives, including who bought a multi-million-dollar house were there in 2019. Desantis, a Republican, proposed of Delaware Martha's Vineyard as a destination for such migrants, but his office explained at the time that they could also be sent to other progressive states whose governors endorse blatant violations of federal immigration law. It is under the responsibility of Floridians to subsidize aliens to reside in our state unlawfully. We do not consent to Biden's open borders agenda, the governor's office said at the time. In November, Desantis said dozens of migrant flights landed in Florida at the behest of the Biden administration, and he threatened at the time to send them to Delaware on buses. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abott, a Republican, began sending thousands of illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. in April as the migrant crisis overwhelmed border states. In August, buses from Texas... I apologize again. In August, buses from Texas started heading to New York City and Chicago. Arizona has also sent buses to Washington. Vice President Kamala Harris, who was put in charge of tackling the border crisis by President Biden shortly after they assumed office in 2021, sparked a firestorm this week after she twice declared the U.S. southern border is secure, while administration officials estimate an average 55,000 so-called gotaways each month, illegal immigrants who successfully make it into the country without being detained. Alright, so we have that. But at the same time here, we also have a bit of border surge. Biden admins plans to send migrants to cities deeper inside the U.S., starting with L.A., said internal documents. We're not going to go through this whole article here exactly, but that's what we're talking about. And we also have further evidence of this as well, with the New York Post saying, Abbott plan, Biden admin to ship migrants from border to U.S. cities, report says. So, this was back in June 9th, 2022. So they have already done this beforehand, right? The Democrats have done this, shipped already illegal immigrants to other U.S. cities, and this is what they're having to deal with, right? So this is a surge of illegal immigrants. This is a problem, and they're causing the mass problem. Now, he knows how it feels. NYC Mayor Eric Adams claims the Big Apple is near breaking point after Texas bussed 11,000 migrants to Sanctuary City, while El Paso has thousands of immigrants sleeping on the streets. Yeah, which is not entirely any of the it's not really any of the I would say border states' problem fault, because Biden has opened, has opened the border, and now there's a huge flood, and now they have thousands of plus people still on the streets and stuff because they can't contain it. They don't have room or housing for these type of for these people. That's the problem here. So now that they have this issue, this is what have it. You guys are already doing a fraction of what all the other border states are dealing with. And Martha's Vineyard is a magnet for millionaires, CEOs, and celebs, and the Obamas reportedly just bought a $12 billion mansion on the island. Here's a look at the rich and famous who flock there every summer. Martha's Vineyard is a place to be if you're among America's elite. The island is split up into 6 towns: Aquina, Chilmark, Edgartown, Oak Bluffs, Vineyard Haven, and West Tisbury. It's a mix of sandy beaches, picturesque lighthouses, wildlife sanctuaries, and sprawling million-dollar estates. And Oak Bluffs, as Business Insider's and Claim Purpose reported, is known for its distinctive and colorful gingerbread houses. While some, like Bill Gates, have been spotted on the island vacationing, others have made long-term estate investments in the area. Most recently, the Obamas are leading the news. They reportedly just bought a sprawling waterfront mansion in Edgartown for $11.75 million. The massive 29-acre estate comes with nearly 7,000 square foot mansion and a private beachfront, and while the nearly $12 million price tag is no small investment, it's far from being one of the most expensive places of real estate on the island. Which doesn't really fucking matter. It's still a massive estate, regardless. Most Americans don't even have that amount of money, or can even dream of it. The Obamas aren't the only ones with real estate on Martha's Vineyard. Many high-profile people have purchased property on Martha's Vineyard, including First Lady Jackie Kennedy, journalist Mike Wallace, television host David Letterman, journalist Diane Sawyer, former chief executive of Calling Capital Richard Saltzman, and film director Spike Lee. Just this past July, the state where former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Aldous spent her summers was put on the market by her daughter Caroline Kennedy with an asking price of $65 million. So you're seeing here, obviously, that these people are living quite well, and these people also voted for these sanctuary cities. It is these guys' policies that are causing all this mayhem, the destruction, this chaos that's happening in these states and the border problems. Their border policies have allowed this to happen, where they're not talking about the immense amount of sex trafficking that's happening, the immense amount of human trafficking that's happening, the immense amount of rape, child trafficking, all this other crazy stuff, death, that is all happening across the United States in general because of all this massive issues that we have. So, that being said, with these, they don't talk about those issues that's happening with the millions upon millions illegal immigrants coming into our country. That they just don't want to talk about the huge negative sides of it, and that's just the reality. And the only people that are wanting to talk about it are obviously the Republicans in this sense. So, that being said, you guys kind of see what's been going on here in these states, and why Ron DeSantis is kind of doing the same thing. Because I'm not saying what the governors are exactly doing are the correct move. However, what else are you supposed to do when you have so many illegal immigrants coming into your country, coming into your state, and you don't have a place to put them or a place to deal with their stuff at all? That's kind of the reason why. So this is one of their ways to deal with it, and they're sanctuary cities, which they don't have to deal with this massive amount of immigration. And they're just getting, and the Democrats are just getting a taste of their own medicine. That's really all it is. Alright guys, that's for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Oh, and just to add, since I did forget to do this one thing, guys, 2 buses of migrants dropped off outside of VP Harris's residence near Naval Observatory in D.C. So yeah, apparently they also, Governor Abbott has sent 2 buses of migrants to drop off at VP Harris's residence, which I'm not quite sure if that's exactly the right move, because I don't really like just random people being dropped off near my house. So I don't really agree with that type of sentiment, but I understand into why he would do it, but I don't really agree with the whole point. But I digress, is to get them to do their job at the very least. Approximately 100 migrants, mainly from Venezuela, just arrived before 7 a.m. from Del Rio, Texas area, and offloaded outside Harris' official residence, the U.S. Observatory near Main Guard Gate. Fox News reporter Drift Jenkins was there in D.C. as Secret Service agents arrived at the gate while the migrants stood outside with bags of their belongings before moving to a nearby church. The migrants were picked up in Eagle Pass, Texas, and were sent by Texas Governor Greg Abott. Greg Abott released a statement about the migrants being dropped off in D.C., saying that the protest will continue. The Biden-Harris administration continues to ignore and deny the historic crisis at our southern border, which has endangered and overwhelmed Texas communities for almost 2 years, said Greg Abott. Our supposed border czar Vice President Kamala Harris has yet to even visit the border to see firsthand the impact of the open border policies she has helped implement, even going so far as to claim the border is secure. Texas will continue sending migrants to sanctuary cities like Washington, D.C. until President Biden and border czar Harris step up and do their jobs to secure the border. So there you have it. I can understand the reasoning though, because it's pretty crazy that this is happening. Alright guys, now that's the end of the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next one. Take care.